has changed in digital marketing post-pandemic? I think this video will have a unique perspective to offer, simply because it was starting from ground zero. Prior to that, I was working at a digital marketing agency that had Fortune 500 clients. So their accounts, most of the customers, they already knew they exist. So it's a little bit easier to develop marketing campaigns when people already know about you. This whole pandemic, I had to start from ground zero. Once the digital marketing agency that my team and I had started just several months back, having to start from ground zero on your own to get everything out there was the next goal. The natural thing to do was start the home-based website, and it moved on to the secondary business, which was the copywriting business. And then the third one was making a partnership with an indie ebook company, which I found randomly through an Instagram discussion. I would categorize that part as digital PR. So that's what you have to do in order to be a part of the community, is communicate with other people. That's part of the social media aspect of things. You can't just post statuses and expect people to follow you. It's going to take time, for sure. If you look at anybody else that has a large following, you'll see that it came from one or two home runs. One or two home run videos that put them on, and then it was history ever since. That already have a digital footprint. Another big thing that I noticed is that repurposing content, while that was a thing before the pandemic, it has grown tenfold. It's something you have to do. It's a non-negotiable now. You have to squeeze every last little bit of juice out of your content to actually get the results that you need for it. There's just so many channels. You build this content, it's not more is better. It's the quality that you put. So that's not a novel concept, but we need to take that a step further and look at the degrees. When I say quality, I mean supreme quality, like can't miss, can't ignore type of quality. That, where you have to break some news of some sort. But as we see in this case, like I'm on video right now, public speaking was typically my way of generating business as a business consultant. With that out the window and having to cancel 11 speaking engagements, the natural step was obviously video, but then learning the live stream game. The hardest part is that all the stuff that you have learned over the years kind of just goes away. You don't have those little shortcuts that you used to, such as, you know that this type of industry typically responds this way. A good example would be healthcare. They have really strict spam filters, so sending cold emails is not always the best strategy to do. Now, if I was to even test out that theory, I don't even know who's still in business, with all these businesses folding every single day. The other thing that changes is the needs of the market, so your messaging has to be a lot tighter and more empathetic to what's going on. Typically in a booming economy where buyers are making purchases, you're going to get more people that are interested in solving problems as opposed to gaining things. About preventing future loss or solving something is bogging down the company from progressing forward. What I mean by that, especially with marketing agencies, they have razor thin margins as it is. Often agencies, they pay a lot lower than someone was to go work in corporate. Is because they have a lot of overhead. When you take into account the location, the amount of employees, the tools, the hosting, all of that, that factors into that price. All of that into account, you start to see why agencies have to be very careful about their spending and keep things to the book. See so many digital agencies disappear. A whole flood of talent on the market right now. The other part is that you cannot leave any thinking left to the user. There's nothing really new with that concept. What happens is that the standard gets higher every single year. Compare it to the vehicle industry, where in the 1950s, certain standard, you paid X amount, and then this is the car that you get for X amount. $100,000 will get you a Range Rover. A $30,000 car will get you a Jeep Patriot. You see, you have a certain expectation of what you're paying for and what your money is going to. You agree and you exchange. Time went on, you see that entry-level cars even have back cameras now, push to start, seat warmers, new standard. That used to skyrocket the price when they were only found in Mercedes. It evolves with buyer expectations. As if you're in sales or marketing, you really have to step your game up now. There is a new expectation on you to deliver, and even the slightest moment of hesitation is costly. A attention is at an all-time premium. It is the fight for attention. So many messages bombarding everybody every single day. Phone always buzzing and finding endless amounts of crap to read. It unlocks our natural survival instincts, our primitive instincts to seek information. And that's why it's so intoxicating and addicting. Those dopamine hits just firing off quicker than having 100 cigarettes. Get to a point eventually, you're just editing. Most of the time, you'll be editing. The substance of your content, that typically stays the same. You're going to have to repackage it up. Maybe put a little different spin on it depending on how many different platforms you're on. Have a core message, and it's going to be about repurposing and sticking to a series. Even to get followers was way easier before. I spread everything out. I just wanted to see what's going to be the most useful channel. And then I started weeding them out as I went through. Patreon, Reddit, Amino, they weren't really what I was looking for. If we were to recap, the main challenges are your message has to get tighter, you have to have a better presentation and be more prepared, and you cannot miss a step, whether that's on your landing page or a presentation that you have or a demo video. It's ruthless editing. Targets that you're going after, it's a lot harder when you're shooting in the dark. You don't even know if there's a company. It's more for B2B. Message typically is getting drowned out. So I might be of the camp. I don't know yet. I'm not ready to make this claim for certain, but my theory is that paid search, especially when it comes to someone starting from brand new, paid search might be an absolute necessity now, where before you can kind of get by on organic, if you just took one on the chin and built content without getting paid for a while, which is hard for many people to get by when they don't know where their next bill's coming from, right? When they don't really know where their next money source is coming from. It's all about using your time wisely. We're seeing that design is more important than ever too. Using efficiency with bots and AI. In sales, there's even live chat. Many different ways to reach people, but you have to become more familiar quicker. Those are the biggest things that I've noticed. Those are the biggest changes that from the ground up building in this era. You don't really know if it's because it's so crowded now with so many people at home giving it a shot. It's hard to say what the exact cause is, really. It could be just the same old suspects now working overtime and pumping out their message in twice the volume. Who knows? Out of all the case studies, when we talk about what's working, what's not, I say that to make a prediction of what's ahead, we're going to continue to see expectations rise on presentation, which is, of course, is the landing pages, design, and if you're in B2B sales, then how you run your intro calls or your demos, your sales presentations. More comfortable on camera is a must. It'd be too hard for folks that were used to it in person. Lack of personal connection and response that's bothering people, but I don't know why there's such a focus on having to make all these video adaptions. You know, it's just basically a Skype call. Not a whole lot would change if you're sitting across from someone other than intangibles, which is seeing someone face to face,